Hi, my name's Spencer, and as always, thank you for checking out my blog. Today's video, I want to talk about a topic that seems to have kind of been coming up a lot for me lately, and that's getting back on the horse. Now, I haven't really blogged about this much, other than my most recent post, which was probably, as some of you saw, first big failure, check. That post was about Craft Brew, and what had happened in that was we ended up losing our competition to get funded for $50,000 for the business. Since then, I gotta say, it's been a little tough, kind of have to get back up, lick your wounds, and people have still been telling me, don't give up, keep at it, keep going. You're gonna be big, you're gonna do well if you just keep at it. And I've also heard the saying, don't be afraid to get back on the horse. Well, that's a great saying. I mean, it's one I've used my whole life, and it's one I've heard, and I really do tell people, don't just give up on something just because you get a couple licks. But there's a couple things too that I think about when I hear that saying that no one really ever talks about. First off, let's talk about the horse. When someone says, get back on the horse, what horse are they talking about? Are they really talking about get back on that exact same horse that bucked you off, that seems to have problems with you, and that kicked you once you were down? I don't know. Are they maybe talking about a different horse? Get back on, but make sure it's a different thing? I mean, for Craft Brew, like if someone told me, get back on the horse, are they talking about keep going with Craft Brew, or keep going with entrepreneurship in general, and maybe try something else? I've had to give that a lot of thought, and I kind of have to ask myself some different questions regarding what I want to do with Craft Brew. I'm gonna have to say that at least at this point for now, after giving it a lot of thought, Craft Brew is done. And I don't know if it's gonna be done forever, but at least it's gonna be done for a while. It takes a team to do the work that's necessary to start the kind of business we were looking to do with custom beer. And I don't know, the team sort of lost heart and lost a lot of energy after we lost 2 different rounds of funding, both the Nevada Governor's Cup and the Sontag Entrepreneurship Competition. It was a pretty big blow, and ultimately it's kind of what sunk the ship. So, relating that back to the whole metaphor of getting back on the horse. Well, I guess I haven't quite got back on the horse yet because, I have to really think about it. One, do I want to get back on that same horse? And I think for me, honestly, it's not necessarily going to be that. I'm not going to go back with Craft Brew, I'm not going to go back on the same horse. But entrepreneurship is a whole different ballgame, because really that's kind of like riding the horse in general. And it's something I don't see myself giving up quite yet. I've always got these ideas popping in my head, and so the idea of me just completely giving up altogether just doesn't really seem like a reality. Now, the other big question I have to ask myself is, is entrepreneurship really for me? And that's something that's kind of a personal question I have to really do some self-reflection on. Because, to be honest, while it's easy to say yes and that I'm going to keep on, I have to think about my why. Why am I doing this? Why is it that am I just doing it because people tell me to? Am I doing it because I think I can? But do I really want to? And why should I? Thinking about that question, it's really been tough because I go back and forth. On the one hand, I have a career. I have a job that I really enjoy doing. And that's a difficult thing for an entrepreneur to have. I've read articles and stories from different people who say entrepreneurs can't handle the idea of working for anyone else. It makes them uncomfortable. And for me, that's a tough thing to do because again, I'm not uncomfortable with the job that I have now. I enjoy it. It gives me the kind of work-life balance that I want, and it allows me to do the things that I really enjoy doing. Whereas if I were to be an entrepreneur, as many of you know who have tried your own entrepreneurial endeavor, it is a very tough thing to do. It takes a ton of time. There is no vacation. You have to put your friends and activities and extracurricular things you have going kind of on the back burner, because at least for probably a good solid year or two, you're going to only be focused on that entrepreneurial endeavor. That was something I learned, and that I think was a valuable lesson in what I did with Ucraft Brew. So now, thinking about that, and knowing that I have a good job and that it gives me the things that I want, is entrepreneurship really something for me if I know that I'm not going to be able to have the other things that I want? And I think really what it comes down to is choice. And if I choose to go with entrepreneurship and to pursue a new idea, be it Ucraft Brew later down the road or a completely different one, I think what it boils down to is that it has to be something I'm extremely passionate about. Something that consumes me, and that's, I don't feel like I'm getting deprived or that I'm missing anything if I focus all my time and energy on that. And really, I think that's what kind of makes or breaks an entrepreneur. It's really their passion for what they're doing. Because without it, you're not going to be able to get through those tough times, those times of saying, man, I'd rather be out on a Friday night hanging out with my friends, or I'd rather be in Napa drinking a glass of wine, something like that. It's that passion that's going to kind of take you through when things get hard, maybe when you don't make your first round of funding, or you didn't get approved for a loan, or anything of that nature where you got to say, hey, I'm going to keep going because this is the kind of passion I have for it. And I think really when I think about Ucraft Brew, maybe I just didn't have that level of passion that I need. Because, when faced with these challenges, it doesn't really sound as appealing to me as it once did. And I think that, had I been more passionate about it, I would still keep going and I wouldn't have had a second hesitation or a second thought about it. Kind of going back to the whole metaphor, get back on the horse, maybe you got to kind of ask yourself, do I even like horse riding? Was it just something I was doing and I fell off because I sucked at it but I still loved it? Or was it something that I fell off of, I hate it, and I don't ever want to do it again? Because whatever you end up doing, if you want to be successful at it, you have to find that passion and that sense of purpose in why you're doing it. Really, I think that that's what it takes for any entrepreneur to get through what they're going to need to keep going and making their business successful. So now it's really about finding that next big thing that's going to carry and ignite my passion for something new. Something more so that I'm passionate about my own job, about the hobbies that I have right now, about kind of the lifestyle that I live, something that consumes me in what I'm doing, because that's what it's going to take for me to really focus, buckle down, and to start up a business that is really going to create value for others. Anyway, I'm Spencer Lewis. Thank you again for watching. If you like what I had to say about this, feel free to subscribe to my blog, or you can follow me on Twitter at the log post is at SpencerLewis88. And yeah, you guys have a great one. Thanks.